Benjamin Netanyahu has become Israel's new prime minister. For Volodymyr Zelensky, however, he might come across as a new headache. Experts are worried that Netanyahu might take Israel down the pro Russia path and abandon its ties with Ukraine forever. Hi and welcome. You are watching India's World. We discuss geopolitics here. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more interesting videos. Netanyahu, Bibi is back in Israel. Now the liberal media has already started whining in pain. BBC wrote in one article, the most religious and hardline government in Israel's history has been sworn in. On the other hand, Zelensky is hoping he might get to kickstart a new begging campaign in Israel. Zelensky is hopeful that Benjamin Netanyahu's electoral victory will lead to a greater willingness to supply Ukraine with military support and boost its defensive posture through transferring military technology, including the Iron Dome air defense system and the Barak 8 surface to air missile. Zelensky's optimism is driven by the fact that Russia has grown closer to Iran over the past 8 months and Israel might help Ukraine in order to settle the score. Well, let us tell you, Zelensky is in for a big embarrassment and disappointment here. It must be noted that Benjamin is a very close friend of Vladimir Putin. In 2015, Bibi had convinced Putin to agree to a deconflicting mechanism in Syria under which Israel was given a free hand to demolish Iranian targets. To maintain stability on its border with Syria, Israel needs Russia. On the flip side, Russia also admires Netanyahu. After Netanyahu's victory in the elections last month, Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary of the president of the Russian Federation, said, we definitely value constructive relations with our Israeli partners. It is certainly important for us to see people at the helm of Israel and the government who share a common approach toward further developing bilateral relations. The other noteworthy point here is that Netanyahu has always been at odds with Democrats. Obama's Iran nuclear deal has been a bone of contention between the two parties. Obama also promoted the two-state solution by instigating pro-Palestinian sentiments. In fact, when Joe Biden became president of US last year, he refrained from talking to Netanyahu for over weeks, even as he kept talking to other world leaders over the phone. Thirdly, Netanyahu might want to remind Zelensky that Ukraine has been one of the staunchest opponents of Israel at the UN. Anti-Semitic trends in Ukraine are still rampant. Over 72% of Ukrainians believe that Jews have too much power in the business world, and over half of them state that Jews wield too much influence over global affairs. All in all, Netanyahu's re-election as Israel's PM is like a nightmare coming true for Zelensky as well as Joe Biden. If Biden goes on to breach Netanyahu's red lines over Ukraine, and if he keeps exerting pressure on Israel, Netanyahu can fire back by walking out of the maritime peace agreement brokered by the US between Lebanon and the former Lapid government of Israel in October this year. Netanyahu was in opposition at that time and he had labeled the deal with Hezbollah as a surrender before Iran. Yair Lapid, Israel's former prime minister, caved into pressure exerted by Biden and had started giving military aid to Ukraine. Haaretz noted that at the behest of US officials, Israel funded strategic materials worth millions of dollars to a NATO member state responsible for supplying Ukraine with military equipment. The article reveals that Israel also recently eased its restrictions on NATO members delivering artillery to Ukraine with Israeli-made components like electro-optical and fire control systems. But Netanyahu is no Yair Lapid. He is a hard nut to crack for Joe Biden. He is going to stop every kind of military assistance that Israel has offered to Ukraine so far.
India's World, telling the right side of the story.